get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Why, my little party's just beginning.
Hey everyone, Luke here. Today we're diving into the dark and magical world of the Wizard of Oz with an oil painting portrait of the infamous Wicked Witch of the West. And as always, I like to start my paintings with a foundation of an acrylic underpainting. For the underpainting, I will be using raw umber to lay down some initial shapes and values. This monochromatic layer helps define the composition and gives us a roadmap for when I get into the oil painting phase. By establishing these basic values early on, we ensure that our painting will have depth and contrast. Now, the goal isn't to be perfect. I'm trying to have this balance between accuracy and looseness. It's important to establish the proportions and the values, but it's also important to remember that this is a painting and to be loose and free with this initial stage. I've recently been adding a touch of titanium white to enhance the highlights, which will make the subsequent layers of oil paint more vibrant and more dynamic, and also help to reinforce some of those lighter areas of the painting. I am a huge fan of pre-mixing my palette. For this piece, I've created 4 distinct color groups. There'll be some greens for the skin tone. There'll be some browns and ochre colors that will be used for some facial features, a little bit of blues for the background, and a little bit of reds for some warmth. The goal is not to create a paint by numbers palette. The idea is to get the darkest tone in that color group, the lightest value in that color group, and then some midtones that you can play with. By doing the legwork right now, I don't need to focus so much on mixing large globs of paint when I'm painting. I can just simply focus on putting colors and brushwork on the panel. I'm going to start by eating the frog first. This is a term I love, but it also speaks true of how I like to paint. I like to tackle the most difficult or most sensitive part of the portrait first, and usually that's the eyes. And this is because it's my highest level of readiness when I'm getting into the painting. I can take all my energy, focus it into this really complicated area, and make sure I execute it perfectly or near perfectly. It doesn't mean I always get it right on the first try, but it does mean that I have a better chance of achieving this now as opposed to towards the end of the painting where I'm very fatigued and I just want to get this thing finished. Margaret Hamilton, who portrayed the Wicked Witch of the West, wore green makeup that contained copper-based powder. This makeup caused severe health issues, including burns and skin irritation. The green makeup was so toxic that it left her with severe burns after prolonged use. The makeup of the costume was so elaborate that Hamilton had to go through hours of preparation every single day to get into character. And it doesn't stop there. During the famous disappearance scene, there was a special effect that involved a trapdoor and pyrotechnics, and during one of the takes, Hamilton suffered second-degree burns on her face and hands. This just goes to show the absolute chaos that these actors went through to create this once-in-a-lifetime movie. Despite all these challenges, Hamilton's performance left an unforgettable mark. Her portrayal of the Wicked Witch has become one of the most memorable in cinematic history, contributing significantly to the film's legacy. When you're a kid, she was absolutely terrifying, and rewatching this movie as an adult, you could just see that every single frame that she's in, she is a living, breathing witch, and you buy every moment of it. So before I can tidy up this painting, I need to do some oiling out. This technique involves applying a thin layer of oil over the dried paint. It restores the gloss and vibrancy of the colors, making it easier to see areas that needed to be touched up. And I'll be using a refined linseed oil for this. And if you haven't seen oiling out, it works like complete magic. Check this out. Here's a comparison to show you what I mean. Here's before and after. Now, having a better understanding of how this painting will look once it's fully completed, I can go back to some of these trouble areas and touch them up. And thanks to this oiling out, what I thought was going to be a ton of work ended up being just some really fine touch-ups with a really small brush to just tidy up some areas and create a little bit more unity throughout the piece. And with these last finishing touches, we can bring the Wicked Witch to life again. And here is the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed this artistic journey of the Wicked Witch of the West. If you're interested in owning a print of this Halloween themed portrait, check out the link in the description. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more art videos just like this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this painting and any other characters you'd like me to see paint next. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very great day.